I lost a lot of time with my kids when I was in the military, and I refuse to lose any time with them now. As far as like, if my daughter needs me, I will literally drop everything and get to her. They are my priorities, and I want to be there with them. And with Amazon, it'll give me the extra income to make the move comfortably.
Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. I'm a small town girl who took a big risk and quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew a 7-figure business, visited all the lower 48 states, bought a farm, and today I am still doing what I love to do, selling on Amazon while helping other sellers do it too. Each week, I will share Amazon tips and tricks and bring in guests to share their stories, expertise, and tips on the platforms that they use. Think of this as a sit down with your Amazon bestie where you can learn, ask, start, and grow your online selling business. Welcome to Your Selling Pod. Hey crew, and welcome back. On today's episode, we have a YSG community member, Terry Dearborn. Now, Terry retired from the Air Force in 2009, and like she says, she's still looking to see what she wants to be when she grows up. That journey has brought her to Amazon, and before I tell her whole story, let's welcome Terry to the podcast. Welcome, Terry, to the podcast.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to talk to you because I swear, every time we have one of those hangouts in the groups, I learn a little bit more about you, and your life is super fascinating. So how did you get into online selling, and what was your life like before that? And you can go back in as much detail or little detail as you want to.
Okay. Well, I'm retired Air Force. I joined the Air Force originally just to help get my college degree. Then it turned out that I ended up 17 years later. I did get my college degree. I got my GI Bill, but gave that one to my son because I could. And I received an injury when I was in Iraq and got medically discharged or retired. And then I had to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I've always known, I knew when I got out that I could not work a 9-to-5 job. There's no way. One, after being so structured in the military, it's really hard. And I did try. I lost my job. They asked me to leave because I wasn't sensitive enough. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, probably shouldn't work with people. They can't take it. My job was, I was like FedEx for Delta in the Air Force. I worked with primarily men. Men don't take hints, as most of us all well know. You just straightforward tell them, and they're good with that. I knew I wanted to do something. I knew I wanted to own a business, but I never really knew what I wanted to do. So I did a lot of YouTubing, searching, wondering. I did direct sales. I did like 3 or 4 different direct sales. Quickly found out. Now, don't get me wrong. If anybody does direct sales and they're doing great with it, good. I'm happy for you. But quickly realized, well, no, not quickly enough. But I did finally realize that you have to build a team to make any money at that. I don't want to do that. That's responsibility that I don't want. I don't. Enough responsibility. I was over the responsibility once I got out of the military. I didn't want it. So those didn't work. Tried a couple different things. I have a whole room full of good intentions that I am slowly trying to part with. I want to part with it, but I'm trying to sell it. It's just one of those things. It's good intentions, but they need to go away. I actually did see selling on Amazon, and I actually got my Amazon business started up in Seller Central in 2015, selling books. And I was doing okay with that. And I decided to do that because I have an uncle who is an avid reader. He is a hoarder of books. But he does let me take them out after he's read them. He's elderly. So I said, what am I doing with all these books? What can I do with all these books? I got to the point where the library said, no, we don't need any more. Thank you. Because he'll read 2 to 3 a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. So, and they were mass media. So I wasn't really making any money from them. And that's, if anybody's ever sold books, they can understand that that's a lot to keep track of, but it wasn't at the time worth sending into Amazon. I did send some into Amazon, but they would sit and sit and sit. And it got to the point where I was losing money. So I says, well, okay, I got frustrated with it and I walked away. I said, okay, I'm done. I just cleared everything out and I just didn't do anything with it. Just sat there. What other business I've done? I actually opened a brick and mortar store. And that's when we lost my daughter. And so I closed everything. I shut down for a couple of years. After that, I was like, okay, we got to do this again. There's got to be a way. These people are making it. I had an Etsy store. I did eBay. I actually started eBay back in 98. Yeah, we lived in Germany at the time and I was getting all these clothes. And if anybody's ever lived in Europe, space is a premium. It's like living in an RV in an apartment. Space is a premium. So I started selling the clothes, the kids' clothes and different things. But that was it. I never really even took it serious. I didn't think you could do a store with it. I didn't really feel anything, nothing ever really fit until I found your videos. And I says, okay, so this lady is not trying to tell me okay, I'm going to show you how to do it, but here, spend $4,000 so that I can tell you to do it because I've done that. So, but yeah, I just said, I got to be able to do this. There's got to be a way to do this because I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to get it to the point where I can build stuff up and have a residual income. I mean, I understand that we have to do it. We have to build it up. Like right now, I travel around in wine slushies, sell wine slushies. Where the heck am I at? I'm in Exis Junction, Vermont right now, just outside of Burlington, Vermont at the Champlain Valley Fair. I travel around with my husband. As you can see, I'm in my travel van because there's no quiet space at all at the fair. I know, like I said, you build up for like Q4. I would love to join the Q4 group, your Q4 group. Mm-hmm. But this is our busiest season, and I know that I can't dedicate what I need to dedicate to the Q4 group, so I don't think it's fair to take up a spot. But I am in the Bolo group because I can sneak away every now and then and go do something and find something. Before I left for this fair, I bundled everything up. Actually, it was my biggest shipment, and I was really proud of myself because there was 9 boxes. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, and I don't have a lot. I don't have the numbers like everybody else does, but something that you had said in one of the Facebook groups is it a hobby or is it a job? Or, you know what I'm saying? It is something. And at the time it was a hobby and I didn't realize that. It just had to be, punched in my face, I guess.
Yeah, it's really easy to feel like you're doing it. Not that you weren't doing it, but something changes in your mentality towards it when you treat it like a real business.
Yeah.
Like even if back in the day you had done that with eBay, you can do it with anything. Like I'm doing pottery right now. It's a hobby. Like, and I treat it as such. So when I have time, I go do it. But yeah.
Yeah. And that was the thing is, I guess I am treating it like a hobby. And like literally the next day I went to yoga and to my yoga session. And at the end of the session, the yoga instructor, she does a little saying. And the saying was, instead of saying, I don't have time for that, say it's not a priority. It clicked. I said, okay, we're done. I know I'm all over the board. My daughter swears up and down that I have ADD. So which is okay. I can agree with that with some of the stuff. But I said, okay, nope, I'm done. I got to do it. And I signed up for Sellerboard. I mean, I did it before, but when I first started, I literally was everywhere, all over the board. And I had like 3 or 4 different programs. I had Rev Seller, I had Seller Amp. I was like, I had them all because I was like, okay, which one is the best? Which one is the best? But I couldn't make a decision. And finally, my daughter was like, Mom, stop. Just stop and make a decision. And so I wrote it all down. I said, okay, what do I like about all these? And what do I not like about these? And I went with the one. I went with BuyBot Pro. I know it's slow, but I don't have, as far as like getting things to turn around, but I don't have good internet anyway where I live. So it doesn't faze me as much as I could if I lived in a big city. So I used that and I did Sellerboard, and that really, really, really woke me up and said, okay, yeah, all right, these are my numbers. Yeah, okay, these are bad buys. Let's just suck it up, get rid of it. So this year, this is my, I guess you can say, my cleansing year. Getting rid of the bad buys, just sucking it up and going and making better decisions from here on out. And since I've been doing that, I've been seeing better numbers. Really weird.
Nice. Yeah, I think it was maybe 2 months ago now, but I remember when you had a mild, freak out when you first got Sellerboard.
Oh my God. A mild freak out. I was major panic mode. Oh my God, if my husband sees this, we're going to be in so much trouble.
Yeah, it's great though, because it does open your eyes, because if you don't know your numbers, you really don't know what's going on in your business, and you could be spinning your wheels doing this, and at the end of the day, it's like, for what? To make a couple pennies or lose them. And so it opens your eyes to like what's really going on, and then just like you said, now that your eyes have been open, you're now able to make smarter buys, smarter decisions, cut the fat, cut the bad stuff, and now your numbers are improving.
Yes, they are. Except for I did a really good buy and I sent it in and I wasn't paying attention and I hit the wrong number. And instead of making $20 on an item, I made 25 cents.
Oh no.
At least I didn't lose money. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say. I'm like, whatever. Okay. This is me doing it when I'm tired and frustrated, and I should have just put it down and walked away. So learning.
How long were you doing it, or have you been doing it total now since you kind of started RA?
I started RA back and forth late, about this time in 2020. No, January 2022 is when I started back up.
Okay.
So it's been almost 2 years, but it wasn't recently. I'm a slow learner, apparently. It wasn't until recently that I said, okay, here we go. This is what we're doing. And getting it moving to the right direction. But I look at all these numbers. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Oh, everything. That's okay. We got it. We're change.
Yeah, you just pivot and make a new choice, different decision.
Yeah.
Keep working at it. A lot of people give up, and I mean, you could have easily given up also. How did you decide, like, no, this is what I want to do?
Actually, it was my granddaughter that got me moving in the right direction also. Because like right now I live in Pennsylvania. I want to move to Oklahoma, where they are. They're just outside of Oklahoma City. They're not leaving. They're done. That's my son-in-law retired out of the Air Force, and that's where he's from, and that's where he wants to be. And my daughter likes it. She's getting used to it. And I just need to be by them. And my granddaughter says, well, Grandma, if you come here, I can help you source. And I was like, okay, we can do that because she'll be 12 in November. And I was, I watched the podcast, I listened to Becky, and I was like, I can do that with her and teach her, how to do things. The only downfall is she gets bored fast. She's like, okay, yeah, I'm over it. Let's go. But I just want to be able to be by them. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, I know this sounds really, really crazy, but I've been doing the research. I would love to own a liquidation store, like buy the pallets and then people just come in and buy them. And then I'm
Mhm.
thinking to myself too, if I buy shelf pull pallets, I can be the first one to go through them and send them to Amazon before anybody else does. And then
Yeah.
that's a great way to sell the rest of the stuff.
Yep.
So, and then you can pick your own hours. And that's what I told him. My husband's like, he goes, I thought we didn't want to be tied down. And I was like, well, we don't want to be tied down because I never really wanted to be tied down because I lost a lot of time with my kids when I was in the military. And I refuse to lose any time with them now.
Mhm.
As far as like, if my daughter needs me, I will literally drop everything and get to her. If my grandkids need me, same thing. I will literally drop everything and get to her. They are my priorities. And I want to be there with them. And with Amazon, it'll give me the extra income to make the move comfortably. I don't know if that makes sense. I have my
Yeah.
retirement. I have income. I don't have to do anything. But I need to do something.
Right. I would love to also have a liquidation store. Like, I wanna have, like, a clothing boutique, and that's something I am pursuing and going to do, but I also would love to have a liquidation store, and when this shop, if it ever gets finished, I'm gonna start buying pallets too, just to see. I have to figure out eBay, though, because I mean, I have figured it out, but I have to be more, like, strategic with it because you can't sell everything on Amazon, there's gonna be junk, so I
Yeah.
gotta figure out something with that.
Mhm. So, you know what I did find out? So, I have a Facebook Marketplace, I have Etsy, I have a Shopify store that would probably do good if I did something with it, but I'm too lazy apparently. I use a cross lister called Vendu,
Oh, nice.
and I put everything on there and let it go. Once I put everything on there, I list it. If once it sells, I can delist it from that same place. Love that. So that's
That's
what I do.
So once something sells, since it's cross-listed, it'll pull it down on the other ones?
You have to do it, but you don't have to go into each and every one of them.
Yeah,
I can send a link. Um, it's amazing because
nice.
I could just hit delist, 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 delist. I think they are coming out with a way to click on all of them and delist it, but it doesn't. They don't talk to each other as far as inventory goes. You literally have to do all that. But it's a lot better than trying to remember where you have stuff listed
Yeah.
because some things can't list on some things. And then what I do have too right now, I have a booth in a vendor mall. So in our area we have a lot of what we call vendor malls. So
Mhm.
you rent space. Like I have a 12 by 12 space that I rent every month. I have a bunch of stuff in there just to get rid of it, just to say, okay, here you go, or like I would buy something, can't bring it back. I can put it in there for a couple dollars more than what I paid for it. And I always make my booth rent plus, so I can't argue with that.
Do you have to work the booth, or is there someone doing it for you?
So I've been in there for 3 years, almost 4 years, because Mary, who owns it, she's a friend of mine. Uh, no, I work twice a month, and
Okay.
that's just because I get a break on my rent. She takes part of my rent off for working it for her. She doesn't let everybody do that. But no, you don't have to be there. It's you tag everything and people work it and you just pay for the space. Uh, and then she charges 3%.
Mm,
You have to pay the 3% for the credit card fees. But other than that, she does everything. Uh,
that's cool. I've never heard of that. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. See, and that's what actually there is one out there I saw, but it's in Oklahoma City though. I don't know how
Yeah.
far you are from there. But it's nice. There are some places that will charge rent plus 10% of the sales or 20% of the sales. She doesn't. She just does rent because she does estate sales, and that's where she sells her stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I could do that too.
Q4 is here. It is the best time of the year as an Amazon seller, but if you don't know what's going on with your profits, your money, your business, do you really know if that business and product is making any money? This is why I love Sellerboard and why I've partnered with them on the Your Selling podcast. Sellerboard truly is the best way for an Amazon seller to see their true business, how much profit you're making on a product, and better yet, why I love it, it forecasts out your total sales for the month, and you can see by quarter, by month, or by the entire year how much money your items are making you. We all know different things come up in Amazon business, from returns to various Amazon fees. All of it is broken down in Sellerboard because, like I've said, if you don't know your business numbers, you don't know what's going on. And as new small business owners, that's the area that gets fallen behind because we truly don't totally understand it. So why not use this software to fully understand what's going on? Sellerboard is offering my listeners 2 months free, no credit card required. All you got to do is head to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit and sign up. Again, you just log into your Amazon account in Sellerboard and everything is pulled over, including all your past items you've ever had. Enter in your cost of goods, and finally, you will see the true profit picture of what's going on in your business. Again, try it 2 months free at yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit and really understand your business this Q4. How did you get, I'm going to pivot. How did you get into the wine slushy business?
That was a total fluke. Total fluke. So, of course, I have this vendor mall, and I didn't think about Amazon at the time. Like I said, I was like, oh, I suck at that, so I'm not going to do it. I found the company on Faire, and I ordered it. Quickly realized I did not. That's what I'm still learning, because I'm still learning to grow up. If you're ever going to do food, if you're going to sell food, you have to taste it. It has to be sampled. Food has to be sampled. Nobody's going to take food and go, oh, well, I might try it. So I realized that quickly. And because I did direct sales, I used to do craft shows. So I said, well, I can take this. I can find some kind of blender or slushy machine or something, or pre-make them and take them to craft shows. So lo and behold, I applied for a show, and they says, we already have a rep for that company. I'm like, what do you mean you already have a rep for that company? Okay. And so I contacted the company. And then when I got to looking at the website, they said they were looking for affiliates. I was like, oh, okay, let me try to be an affiliate. And then got to talking to them, and they says, I asked them about a show. And she goes, oh, well, we don't do that show. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't do that show? And that's when they told me they have independent contractors. She goes, oh, well, we have independent contractors that go out and do shows for us. And I'm like, I enjoy doing it. It gets me off of my mountain, because if not, I won't see people. I filled out the application and didn't hear from them. Well, in between all that time, I went to Italy to visit my daughter, because that's where she lived at the time. So we were going to be there for like 3 weeks. And it was right before COVID. Right. Literally, it was like August, September of 2019. We were there, and they sent me an email, and I says, well, let me check my emails. I don't know why. I just checked my emails, and there was a message from them. So we started talking back and forth on Messenger, and they go, well, can we call you? I says, I don't think you want to pay for that. I'm in Italy right now. And I said, Messenger works best. And then Anthony, the owner, goes, oh, yeah, it does. So I basically got hired over the internet for doing the contract work for them. And then when we were flying back, because they provide everything. They provide the van. They literally provide everything, except for the food. I have to buy my own food. They provide hotel, gas, van, inventory, everything. There's nothing out of my pocket.
Wow.
How beautiful is that? Hindsight's 2020, because we weren't really thinking about this, I guess. And when later on we thought about it, we were like, that was kind of stupid. But we were flying. I told him, I says, well, I can fly out there. I'm flying into Newark on this date. And we drive home from Newark. I said, if you want, I can fly from Newark to Cleveland. And if you could pick me up, I can just drive everything home. Because we were trying to figure out how I was going to get the product and everything. He goes, okay, yeah, I can do that. Really, I've never met this person. I've only talked to him on the messenger. I don't even know what this guy looks like. Do you think that's smart? No. But we did it. And we were thinking, somebody asked us about it. They go, you did that and you didn't even know who it was? And my husband's like, oh, I got to track her on her phone. I can find her. I said, you could have been some stalker, serial killer guy or something. Here we are. But yeah, that's how we got into doing this. And I realized after like the second show, I couldn't do it because of my injuries and the stuff that you have to lift. I can't physically do it. Mm-hmm. So I told my husband, I said, I got to turn this in. I can't do this. I physically can't do this. And then they were like, how do you feel about Des Moines? And I'm like, Iowa? And they were like, yeah. I said, it's far. I don't know what you want me to say about Des Moines. I've been through it, traveling. She goes, well, how would you feel about going to a show out there? I said, oh, no. I don't drive that far. I don't drive. Yeah. No, I can't physically drive that far. And then I said, well, I might be able to do it if my husband can drive. So I asked him and he says, oh, okay, yeah. And they paid us extra to drive out there. And that's how he got started. And I says, well, let's change everything over to him because there's going to be times where it's just him doing the shows because I physically can't do it. If I'm like, yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm done. I got to lay down. And thankfully we have a friend who has an RV and he let me go lay down in his RV. So, I just got to be careful when I do stuff.
Yeah.
But Amazon, I can just get it all shipped up and packed up. I love the idea of, because I make my son lives at home with us. We asked him to move back home. I make him bring all the stuff into the house.
Nice.
So, and then I can pack it up one by one, little by little. I'm slow at getting it ready to go, but that's okay because I just got to be careful. And I tried doing the UPS pickup with Pirate Ship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to schedule that like a week out.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah, I live in a rural area. That's perks of living in a rural area or the downfall, one of the two, whatever you want to take it. So once the boxes are packed up, they put them in the car for me and I drive down to the UPS store and my friend Matt owns the UPS store. So I just call him or send him a text. I said, hey, heading down. He goes, okay, I'll keep the back door open for you. So I just pull up to the back door and they come out and with their little scanner to scan it in and pull it out for me.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is. So, but that's how we got on the wine slushies. They're good. Don't get me wrong. But my husband's like, well, I don't want to give up these shows. And I'm like, well, we can always take this with us. It's a traveling company.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said, we can always just move everything from New England area to Oklahoma, Texas area, wherever all that stuff is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the process. I have to slowly plant seeds with him.
Well, it's cool because you have two mobile businesses now that you can pretty much do anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I so want to take a sourcing trip. That just sounds like fun.
Yeah. How did you handle when things get, like, frustrated or you're tired or overwhelmed or just hurting? Like, how do you kind of handle those?
Uh, well, before, not well. I would just try to muddle through it and push through it. That's why I only made 25 cents on a $20 item. Now I walk away. I like, okay, I'm done. I walk away. If I mentally or physically can't do it, I just walk away and regroup. Uh, Even if it's laying down, sometimes I have to take a nap. If I have to take medication, and then I'm sleeping for the rest of the day. So, uh, but it's just walking away from it. Just close the door and walk
Yeah.
away, you know, come back when I'm better mentally prepared. Because when you're in pain, your mentality is not there either. So, you know,
Yeah.
if all it is like I just have to finish, tagging things or polybagging things, I'll push through. But for the most part, just walk away. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that I can say is that's the best thing. That was the best advice that I just can give anybody. Don't do the $19.75 mistake that I did.
Yeah, it's really important to, like, take a step back, quit for the day or whatever,
Mhm.
because when we work for ourselves, it's like nothing's getting done if you're not doing it, but at the same time, you have to take care of yourself, your mental and physical health, and so there's a lot of times where I have to go like, "Okay, no, Nikki, this isn't actually that important. You can take the afternoon off and, like,
Yeah.
do it tomorrow."
Mhm. Yep. Yep. And that's so I did put up a sign above my computer that says, "Tired? Frustrated? How much are you willing to lose today?" And then I put the $19 or I put the $20 by it. That's a huge reminder, like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, I got that. Let's goodbye. We're going
Yeah,
away. We're gonna just walk away."
that's smart.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you need mental reminders. So, yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for anyone who's either new looking to start or maybe they're just kind of frustrated with their Amazon journey so far?
My advice, have a plan. Have have a plan on what you're gonna do. Don't follow me because I am all over the place and you will definitely get seasick. Um, have a budget. I didn't start with a budget. I did like, oh, I can't think of her name right now, right offhand, but I didn't really have a budget because all of our household income and everything is it's all paid for. So I was just, I can do it. If I saw a good deal, I'd buy it. Uh, have a budget and stick to it. The Do your research and figure out what programs are going to work for you, and use them. Sellerboard, I highly recommend Sellerboard. Uh, I can't tell you enough. uh, and if you get frustrated with it, it's going to happen. I had to learn to be okay walking out of the store without anything. There's going to be times where there's nothing there. Uh, you got to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Just walk away, try again later, or try again another day. Uh, I I can't do it every day just because of right now, especially right now. I don't have any time off uh, between now and the 9th of October. I will literally be home for 7 days
Wow.
between August and the 9th of October. Uh, that's just our season. That's the busiest part of it. So I don't have time to really source. So I have to go faster. But have your plan and know where you are and know your numbers. That's what I would say. One thing that I do know is having multiple businesses or whatever hobbies. I'm going to just call them hobbies. They were hobbies. They were just hobbies. Uh, treat it as a business, but know an exit plan too. if it's something that you're not going to walk away, if you have truly honestly decided that that's something that you don't want, know how you're going to leave it. That was something I learned in business school, actually. Do I follow that advice? Nope, but that's okay. Really, that's all I can think of right offhand is know the numbers, have a plan, have a budget, stick to it, stay organized. Even if it's baby steps, do it baby steps. If you can't afford Sellerboard, still know your numbers. With the budget, make sure your budget includes all the programs too, all the subscriptions. Make sure it includes all that.
Yeah, there's really, when you're first starting, you really only need Keepa, and it's really a shame that it's paid now. I think my first 3 years it was free, and then they started charging because it is that valuable. I mean, I get why they charge for it, but besides Keepa, you can kind of do everything for free on a low budget. There's all the tools and softwares make things easier, but if you're just starting with a limited budget, I started with, I think I had $1,000 or might have been 15 total, but it was like 700 was for my inventory. And then the rest was like a training and all this kind of stuff. And I only had a set amount of money that I'd saved for my RV life. I wasn't working. So I had to really only use what I could use, and it snowballs. It takes a while. You have to keep doing it, but it eventually can work out for you if you're treating it like a business, like you said.
Yeah. And that was just it. I didn't have a budget. I didn't know my numbers. I was all over the place. I was the role model of what not to do. That's, if anybody takes anything, ask me what not to do. I'll tell you, because I did it. So, I mean, I'm thinking to myself, I'm watching you going, oh, okay, here's a real person that, tells me, okay, you're not going to win. You're not going to do it. You're not going to, make $100,000 in 2 days, like, 50 other people that are on the internet. If I would have stuck with this from 2015 and started learning and doing, everything that I should have, I would have been you.
Yeah. You're before me. Before me.
I know. But I would have been there if I would have stuck with it. I just gave up too easy. But there was a purpose. There's a reason for everything. So I'm here now, and I'm here to make it work because I want to be in the 6-figure club.
Nice.
I want to be in that club.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go into a store and source and literally buy them all out and spend $2,000 to $3,000. Not think anything of it. We're good. I don't want to, I want to be there. And there's only one way to get there. So
nice.
Just got to get there.
Yeah, the little baby steps along the way. You don't have to do, for those of you listening, you don't have to feel like you have to jump all the way in it and throw in like thousands of dollars. You can start where you're at with what you have, the clearance aisle of Walmart, and just get out there and start scanning. If you've been treating it like a hobby, really step back and ask yourself, is this a hobby or is it a business? And change the mentality that you're taking to it. And if you start treating it like a business, it will become like a business.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. And you know what? Have a goal, have a reason. I didn't have a reason. I didn't have a goal. I didn't really have anything that I wanted to work for. I was just like, okay, I got to do something with my life, because sitting here doing nothing, your brain will go to mush. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it, basically. And now I have a goal. I have somewhere I want to be. I've learned how to do a budget, as far as like, I want a big scale, like for the big scale, instead of my little house scale, putting it on there, pushing the hold, pulling it off really fast, making sure that it works. Yeah. I want a scale. I want a big scale. So I'm slowly saving up for that.
Nice.
I got to stop using my personal money and treat it like a business. And that's what I got to do. And that's what I've been doing. And it's made a difference, huge difference. The last couple of years, I barely hit $2,000 in sales a year. I'm over 12,000 now in just this year. So just in the couple months that I started using Sellerboard has made a huge difference. I did suck it up and clearanced out stuff that were just sitting there or not, this is my clear out. This is my clean out and, learning curve, I guess.
Nice. That's awesome. So you're ready to start next year, totally fresh. You're going to get rid of all the stuff.
All the junk. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the clutter, all the junk, get rid of it. I have, like I said, I have a room full of good intentions. When I'm on the pod or when we're on the Zoom meetings and stuff like that, you'll see my background's blurred out. There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason. I don't have to play Tetris to get to things now. So that's a bonus.
That's funny. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to get on the podcast. I know you are busy with all of the fairs and whatnot with those wine slushies. I just think it's so fascinating, that whole part of it. But thank you so much. Where can people find you if they want to connect?
Honestly, the biggest place is my Facebook page and Messenger right now. I'm in the process of figuring out which way I want to pivot with things. And I gave myself until the end of the year to really figure it out. If I want to continue on with this Shopify store that I have or not. But right now, just my personal Facebook page, Terry Millard Dearborn on Facebook.
Nice. Well, I'll definitely link to your Facebook page so people can connect with you or message you if they have any questions or want to chat more. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing more about your life and Amazon journey.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you sell on Amazon, on Walmart, on Etsy, on Mercury, on Poshmark, whatever it is, I would love to hear from you and chat with you about your selling journey. Please feel free to email me at podcast@yoursellingguide.com. I promise I want to talk to you. If you're like, maybe that's me, but I'm too scared. It really is you. I love hearing everyone's stories, and I know the listeners do as well. So definitely reach out. You can watch these podcasts on YouTube anytime you want. And of course, listen to them in your favorite podcast player, probably like you're doing right now. Until next week, happy sourcing.